and today I'm going to be talking to you about the WASD Gaming Expo in London. And I'm very happy to announce that I was actually accepted for a creator pass, so I got a little badge and I had a lounge area that I can go into. And I have to admit as well, before we get into this video, I was actually very nervous at this gaming convention because it's my first time at WASD. It was my first time with a creator pass, and I didn't know what to expect. And unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of the footage that I wanted to get because I was so nervous. Okay, so the first thing I did when I was there is I went to the SEGA booth, mainly to see the restored SEGA Sonic statue that they had there that was restored from the original 90s SEGA London arcade, I think it was. They completely restored it. They've been traveling around with it to different gaming conventions, so I went there to see that. Also, I did want to get some really cool SEGA badges, but unfortunately they sold out. They didn't have any left when I turned to the booth. So instead, I went and played a game called Endless Dungeon, and this is from the Endless franchise, which is a roguelike tactical action game set in the award-winning Endless Dungeon universe. Now, I have to say, I usually don't touch roguelikes, I don't touch tactical games, but this one just drew me in. The colors, the artwork, the gameplay mechanics were really cool as well. It's easy to get into. It's not one of those things where you have to like sit down and read lots of menus and read lots of tutorials. This one was actually really cool. So the summary of this game is that you have to recruit a team of shipwrecked heroes, plunge into a long abandoned space station, and protect your crystal against never-ending waves of monsters or die trying. And it was really cool. It was like a half an hour demo that I played. Next on the list we have Full Void. Now this Full Void is my game of WASD, and a very special shout out to Rosalia, who was at the Full Void booth. Her, like as I said on Twitter, like her enthusiasm for the game and her passion for the game as well, just kind of it made me passionate about the game. It made me care about the game, and we both compared it to games like Planet of Lana and Stray, and those kind of games where there's not a lot of dialogue, but the art really sells the game. Full Void is a 2D cinematic puzzle platformer set in a dystopian future. A young teenager, scared and alone, must use all of their skills to defeat a rogue AI that keeps mankind oppressed. Okay, and the third thing I want to talk about is something that I've seen on YouTube for a very long time, and I've wanted to get my hands on one, and I finally did at this convention, and that is the Evercade VS console and the Evercade EXP handheld console. These things, like, as I said again on Twitter, I have no interest in retro stuff. I've never played in the arcade. I didn't grow up in the 80s when all that stuff was booming. But I sat down with the Evercade console and the handheld console and absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved the pixel art, absolutely loved like how simple it was. You know, you just plug a cartridge into the console, you pick up the controller, and you start going. The EXP handheld is really cool as well because it also has a Tarte mode, which basically enables you to play the games vertically as well as horizontally. The VS console expands upon the possibilities of retro gaming at home. Using the Evercade cartridge infrastructure, the VS can have 2 cartridges simultaneously, expanding the available playable game library up to 40 games at one time. And it will also allow for support up to 4 players with the Evercade game controllers or other USB game controllers as well. The Evercade The Evercade EXP is the newest handheld retro gaming console from the makers of the Evercade. Retro gaming is leveled up with all new best-in-class features. It features 18 games from the world-famous publisher Capcom, and it brings full support for the Evercade physical cartridge ecosystem over 380 games. And also, the one thing I do love about the Evercade consoles and the handheld is that they have physical things. You know, when you used to get like for me personally, it was always the Sega and the PS1. With any Sega Mega Drive game and with any PS1 game, you would always get a booklet with your cartridges. You get a CD, you get a booklet, or you get a cartridge with a booklet, and that booklet had all the information that you would want. It had all the nice artwork and stuff that you wanted it. And this is why I love it so much, the physical stuff. These days, when you buy a game on Steam or you buy a game on Kickstarter, you have to buy everything separately. You know, if you go on Steam, you have to buy the soundtracks separately. You have to get the digital artwork separately. This way, you get the Evercade, you get everything in the plastic booklet that the cartridge comes into, which is awesome. And also, I should mention that Full Void, the game that I just mentioned, will be available on the Evercade as well. So you get a full, colourful booklet along with the game if you get it on the Evercade console, or use it on the handheld console as well, which is pretty cool. Again, all links for all this stuff is in the links down below. And now I'm going to do a quick shout out to all the other games that I saw but didn't play at of WASD. Some of these games I didn't play because I've already played them, and some of them I didn't play because I just had no interest in them, but maybe some of you watching this might be interested in. So we have Loddlenaut, which I have played so many times. I've played this game like I've played the demo like 3 times, so I absolutely love that game. A little to the left is a game that I started to play on my channel but decided to play it off camera instead. It is a good game, can be very frustrating at the same time. Powerwash Simulator now has a Spongebob and a Back to Future DLCs, which are pretty cool. You get to clean the Mandalorian, clean crusty crabs and stuff like that. Manitas Kitchen, which is a kind of cool take. It's kind of like Plate Up with dinosaurs. So basically, dinosaurs are in a kitchen and they're making lots of food, and there are also mini games in the game as well. So yeah, I didn't get to play it because it only had one computer with one screen. We Were Here Expeditions, which is kind of like a co-op game where you're having to help each other traverse a room that has full of puzzles and stuff, and it's cool. They had 2 sides of a booth. Again, I kind of wanted to play it, but I kind of didn't want to play it because you kind of had to play 2 people, and because I was there by myself, it would have been kind of awkward for me to play it by myself. Next up, we have Cuddly Carnage. Now, when I first saw this game, I thought, oh, it's kind of cool, but then I saw the word Carnage next to it, and I was like, huh. And the weird thing as well is that I saw a dad with their daughter play this game, and I was like, you know, this is like an R-rated cuddly game, right? Thankfully, the daughter was just skateboarding around the game with a fluffy ginger cat, but I'm like, if she went any further into that game, she would have had nightmares for the rest of her life. And the last one I want to talk about is Falconeer Chronicles Bulwark. This is like a point-and-click tactical builder, I guess you could call it. I tried to play it with controller. It wasn't very intuitive, though, unfortunately. But it looked kind of cool, so if you're into those kind of point-and-click tactical games, go ahead and give that a try. So that is everything that I saw and really enjoyed at WASD. Again, thank you so much to the WASD team for granting me a Creators Pass. I will cherish that moment forever. I've been to EGX, for example, for so many years and never got a Creator Pass. So the fact that this is my first time going there and they gave it to me, I will literally cherish and treasure that for the rest of my life. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video or live stream. Peace out.